Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for hip-hop history.
Was that Will Smith?
Will Smith and Chris Rock made headlines at the Oscar 2022 after Chris Rock made a joke about Will's wife, which certainly did not sit well with Will. So Will walked on the stage and slapped Chris Rock. Luckily, Chris Rock played it cool and did not retaliate, preventing the situation from getting out of hand. The incident took the internet by storm and it still hasn't gotten old. Will has, at the other end, a lot of criticism by the fans and some celebs as well. Right now, let's just focus on how Chris Rock has been dealing with this. Comedian Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage on Tuesday night while performing at the event titled "Netflix is a Joke" in Los Angeles. In the short video from the event, a man can be seen charging onto the stage and tackling Chappelle before the recording cuts out. According to The Independent, most accounts of the incident came from reporters who were at the event. U.S. reporter Sharon Carpenter shared her account of the incident on social media, saying he was finishing up his performance when a man ran on stage and lunged at him, knocking him to the floor. Security and his entourage then cornered the man as Dave joked about him getting stumped backstage. As per The Independent, in several clips shared on social media, Chappelle himself appears to joke after the incident, saying it was a trans man, alluding to the controversy he was embroiled in October last year where he was accused of being transphobic in his Netflix special The Closer.
I am not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those pussies that they got, you know what I mean?
This is when Chris Rock said, "Why should I beg?" as he seemed to spot an opportunity to crack a Will Smith slapgate joke. Daily Mail also reported about the incident, saying that the comedian, after the attack, Chris went up on stage to check if Dave was alright and said,
Was that Will Smith?
in the dig at the actor who created headlines this year by slapping Rock on stage at the Oscars. A video was also shared by Twitter user ABAWP showing the attacker on the stretcher being treated after the show. The attacker's details have not been released by the police as of yet. The audience member who attacked Dave had a fake gun that had a real knife inside it. The assailant has been identified as Isaiah Lee, 23. Although Chappelle managed to stay standing, the incident quickly turned into chaos as multiple people rushed to his aid. The man, who also had a knife in his possession, then received a proper beatdown as over a dozen people surrounded him on stage. The attacker was loaded into an ambulance with his face bruised and swollen and his right elbow twisted backward. Ironically, Chappelle had just told the audience he's increased security since becoming a target of the trans community. He joked about it after the situation was diffused, wondering if it was a trans man who'd attacked him. Chris Rock earlier addressed the Will Smith controversy publicly at a stand-up show in Boston. The comedian received 2 back-to-back standing ovations from the audience at Boston's Wilbur Theater that lasted several minutes. Chris Rock said,
"How was your weekend?" I don't have like a bunch of shit about what happened. So if you came to hear that, I had like a whole show I wrote before this weekend. And I'm still kind of processing what happened. So at some point I'll talk about that shit.
Jokes aside, this has become a serious problem for Will Smith now, as people have started blaming him for setting a bad example against comedians. Yes, there are several people on the internet blaming Will Smith for what happened to Chappelle. They believe Smith made it look acceptable to attack a comedian on stage for making a joke. Regardless of the content, they think Smith opened the floodgates for violence when he boldly slapped Rock across the face at 94th Annual Academy Award. One fan wrote, Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage last night. Thanks to Will Smith, shit like this will now be common. Another person added, "We can all thank Will Smith for setting the example that led to Dave Chappelle getting assaulted on stage last night. People have come out on multiple social media platforms to bash Will Smith ever since this incident happened. Slapping Chris Rock has turned out to be nothing less than a nightmare for him. It should have been traumatic for Chris Rock, but from the looks of it, it is taking more toll on Will than Rock." Will Smith, though, took to Instagram and apologized to Chris Rock for his actions. Smith wrote, "I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in the world of love and kindness." Smith further added, "I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us." Amid the controversy, Smith announced his decision to resign from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. He said, "My actions at the 94th Academy Awards presentation were shocking, painful, and inexcusable. The list of those I have heard is long and includes Chris, his family, many of my dear friends and loved ones, all those in attendance, and global audiences at home. I betrayed the trust of the Academy." The organization conducted their own investigation into the altercation, which concluded with them banning Smith from all Oscars events for 10 years as punishment. Academy President David Rubin stated, "The 94th Oscars were meant to be a celebration of the many individuals in our community who did incredible work this past year. However, those moments were overshadowed by the unacceptable and harmful behavior we saw Mr. Smith exhibit on stage." Chris Rock, on the other hand, seems to have found a way to deal with the Will Smith incident. When it happened back then, Chris let it go and did not take it backstage. A source exclusively told Us Weekly that Rock and Smith did not interact privately after the incident. Chris is focusing on his tour, the insider said in late March. He's moving on and is looking forward to his upcoming gigs. During a comedy show that same month, Rock confirmed that he hasn't heard from Smith. He said, "I haven't talked to anyone despite what you may have heard." Chris Rock has started to find humor out of the incident. Well, he's a comedian after all. On April 10, Rock reflected on his state of mind following the drama as he said, "Life is good. I got my hearing back." He joked at a comedy show in Palm Springs, California, according to the Desert Sun newspaper. He, while referring to the incident, said, "I'm okay. I have a whole show and I'm not talking about that until I get paid." The thing of big concern after the Dave Chappelle and Will Smith incident is that the stage does not seem to be a safe place for comedians anymore. The stage is increasingly appearing to be a dangerous place in the literal sense of the word. Will Smith, of course, assaulted Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars in March, shocking the world. In another breach of stage security, although not involving a comedian being attacked during a performance, actress Olivia Wilde was confronted last month at CinemaCon in Las Vegas by a process server delivering custody papers from Jason Sudeikis, who said he was unaware the documents would be served in such a fashion. Then on Tuesday, during his Hollywood ball set at the Netflix Is a Joke comedy festival, Dave Chappelle was assaulted by an armed man who stormed the stage. The unfortunate thing is that it was pretty much anticipated to happen after the 94th Academy Award incident. Kathy Griffin back then said, "Now we all have to worry about who wants to be the next Will Smith in comedy clubs and theaters." The worry seemed like it might be unwarranted. The Oscars incident looked like such a shocking outlier. But now with the Chappelle assault, there's rising concern about the safety of live performers. The Comedy Cellar owner Noam Dworman didn't think the Oscars incident would inspire additional stage attacks on comedians, but now he sure seems to have changed his mind. He said, "What happened to Dave is actually much more concerning than Smith striking Rock and goes beyond comedy. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment reaction to a perceived slight. As bad as that was, it was planned and dangerous, and it appears to be a part of a larger violent trend that is permeating many aspects of American life. I'm relieved that he's okay. We always have security at the cellar, but we'll be on the lookout." Where do you guys stand on comedians being attacked on stage? Feel free to leave your valid opinion in the comment box below. In order to stay updated, stay tuned.